When you're old, remember these 4 things to avoid being resented by your children and ensure a happy later life. Today, I want to share with you some thoughts on aging. Everyone gets old eventually, but what do we fear most about aging? Bai Song once said that while young people don't fear hardship, the real fear is experiencing hardship in old age, especially loneliness and desolation. Everyone hopes that in their old age, they will have someone to rely on and be well taken care of. However, not every elderly person gets their wish. Therefore, as we age, it's important to remember these 4 principles to avoid being resented by our children and ensure a happy later life. 1. Have sufficient savings. There's a saying, each generation has its own blessings. Don't be a beast of burden for your children. As parents, we must understand that our children have their own lives. We can help them for a time, but we cannot worry about them for a lifetime. Many parents spend their whole lives saving and scrimping just to make their children's lives a bit more comfortable. They not only help them buy houses and cars, but also continue to support their lives even after the children are grown. Some parents even exhaust their life savings or borrow money to help their children start businesses. This is a display of parental love, and it's not inherently wrong, as parents naturally want to provide the best for their children. However, once children are grown, they should take on their own responsibilities and care for their families. If parents give away all their savings to their children, when they become elderly and have no income, they will have to ask their children for money if they fall ill or need money urgently. If the children are filial, everything is fine. But if the children are not, the parents' later years can be very miserable, unable to secure their own well-being. In my hometown, there is an elderly couple with 4 children. Despite their poor financial situation, they provided the best they could for their children. They worked hard to raise them, spending all their savings on the children's weddings and house purchases, hoping the children would take care of them in their old age. However, when the couple fell ill, their daughters didn't visit, and their sons were unwilling to spend money on their treatment. Eventually, it was the villagers who raised money for the couple's medical expenses. So, if possible, parents should learn to let go and allow their children to stand on their own. At the same time, they should save for their own retirement to ensure a secure later life. 2. Have a stable residence. Mr. and Mrs. Lao Yen ran a bun shop in Guangzhou. They lived frugally all their lives to provide a good life for their son. They paid for his university education and bought him a house for his marriage, hoping to have a stable home in Guangzhou to enjoy their old age. However, when they joyfully went to their son's house with their luggage, they found their in-laws already living there. Even more heart-wrenching, they weren't allowed to enter the house and were told to leave. In the end, they had to return to their bun shop, feeling deeply saddened. One of the biggest fears in life is having nowhere to go when you're old. A true story from my hometown, an elderly aunt sold her house to buy houses and cars for her son and daughter when they got married, thinking she could live with them and be well cared for. However, neither side welcomed her, leaving her homeless. She and her husband ended up renting a place and working at the market to survive, despite their old age. It's truly heartbreaking. Parental love is natural, but whether children will love you back depends on their nature. In old age, it's a blessing if children can take care of you, but if they can't be with you often, it's important to understand. Therefore, when you're old, having your own small home, no matter how modest, provides a place to rest and call your own. A home to return to is the greatest happiness in later life. 3. Maintain good health. As you age, taking good care of your health is the best way to help your children. Every adult's life is already challenging enough. If elderly parents are healthy, even a busy life can still be a happy one. However, if an elderly parent falls ill, life can become extremely difficult. Nana's mother-in-law was hospitalized recently. Pregnant and working, Nana found her life unbearably hard. She and her husband had little savings, and her pregnancy was already costly. Her mother-in-law's illness added to the financial burden, with Nana's salary as an elementary school teacher barely enough to support herself, let alone cover her mother-in-law's medical expenses. Her mother-in-law had no savings, and her illness had already drained the family's funds. Eventually, Nana had to borrow money from her family for the medical bills. When she asked me for a loan, I could feel her deep helplessness. She said, "I just want to sleep and wake up to find this was all a bad dream." Balancing work, caring for her child, and dealing with her mother-in-law's illness made life extremely tough. So, as you age, it's crucial to take care of your health. Eating well, drinking well, and sleeping well are more important than anything else. It will prevent you from becoming a burden to your children and allow you to live with dignity. Good health in old age is more valuable than anything else. 4. Live your own life well. In old age, no matter how self-sufficient you are, you will inevitably be a bit of a burden to others. So, while you are still capable, it's best not to rely entirely on others for things you can do yourself. In the TV series All Is Well, Su Da-chiang becomes heavily dependent on his children after his wife's death, despite being capable of taking care of himself. He insists that his children fulfill all his demands, leading to their resentment and disrupted lives. He makes life difficult for his children, demanding expensive living arrangements and expecting them to accommodate his whims. He never considers their feelings, focusing only on his own comfort. In the end, his daughter Mingyu takes him back home to care for him, but such a happy ending is rare in real life. If parents can take care of themselves but still rely on their children, even the most filial children will feel frustrated. So, in your later years, try to handle what you can yourself and don't burden your children unnecessarily. Live your life well, and with a positive attitude, everything will fall into place. Help with your children's issues when you can, but don't meddle if it's beyond your capacity, to avoid being resented. Maintaining a certain boundary between parents and children can be beneficial. Finally, I wish all parents a happy and fulfilling old age. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. We look forward to your comments and shares. Here, you will never be alone.